only person I have right now to talk to about this Aspyn Ovard stuff is my husband, and he does not understand the lore. I need to get into this. I have been watching Aspyn Ovard vlogs since I was in the 7th grade 10 years ago. Like, I am an OG fan. I've actually met them. This is me meeting them back in 2018. They were having a warehouse sale back when Aspyn had Luca and Gray. Anyway, like, I am an OG fan, you guys, okay? Just throwing this out there, I'm an OG fan. When I saw that Aspyn has filed for divorce from Parker the same day she announced the birth of her 3rd daughter, I definitely was shook. But honestly, I've been thinking about it more, and if you have been an OG fan for a long time as well, you've seen the way I feel like Aspyn and Parker's dynamic is. And especially in the last couple years, I think it's changed a lot. Multiple times, Aspyn has discussed that she regrets getting married so young, where Parker said he doesn't regret getting married young. I believe they got married when Aspyn was 19 and Parker was 20, which is ridiculously young, but it is normal here in Utah. There's just so much lore around their relationship, and it's very interesting. Like, if you have been watching her a long time, you remember that Parker was going to go serve an LDS mission, but then he didn't, and he stayed behind to get married to Aspyn, and I believe he has left the church. And Aspyn has never been LDS, and if you've seen the leaked tweets of her, like, old Twitter account, her private Twitter account, you've seen that she's always kind of been, like, anti-LDS church, at least in her previous tweets when she was younger. And also, some of those other tweets have just been interesting, showing different pieces of her character. Like, I think she was making fun of a fan's edit one time. And I do always think that Aspyn has kind of worn the pants in their relationship. And again, they could have a completely different relationship. This is just what I've seen on the 30-minute vlogs over the past, like, 10 years that I've watched them. So they could have a completely different life. I'm just speculating here. She has always been very type A, like, where's the pants? Like I said, like, if you've noticed, even before they had kids, like, I feel like almost every vlog I watched, Aspyn would be like, Parker's making us dinner. Parker, make me food. I'm like, oh, Aspyn eats mostly vegetarian and Parker doesn't. He eats meat. And I feel like that was always kind of a funny thing. Like, she would have to make her own separate meals, or they would just eat vegan together, which sounds like a silly little thing, but coming from someone, I am married, and at least in my relationship, my husband, like, loves food, and he believes it, like, really brings people together. And a lot of times I want to eat healthier, and I'm like, I just want to make my own meal, but he's like, no, it brings us, in his opinion, closer together to, like, eat and share the meal together and then clean up together. And a lot of times I've seen in vlogs, they would, like, eat separate foods or, like, do different things like that. I don't know, just random. A couple of years ago, her username used to be Aspyn and Parker, and then she changed it back to just Aspyn Ovard. So kind of interesting. And then with Parker not being in vlogs nearly as much, like, remember at the end of vlogs, he used to be like, Parker's question of the day, like, I don't know, he just used to be a lot more involved. And it's interesting because she did post 2 TikToks in with that funny SpongeBob sound on TikTok while she was in the hospital giving birth. And a lot of people are like, oh, but Parker was with the kids, like, they can't be getting divorced. But it's like, he's the father of the children. Like, yes, he's going to be with the kids no matter if he's divorced or not. It's his kids too. I don't know, this is just very interesting. And if you have looked in her Reddit threads, Aspyn has a lot of interesting things in her, and I do think she's a very calculated person. Like, I feel like people underestimate her with the whole announcing the birth, and they're like, actually, the baby was born weeks prior. And if you know her, that's, like, right up her alley. Like, I feel like she does not entertain social media things and stuff like that, and she's very, like, opinionated and strong in her boundaries. This whole thing is interesting. If you've been an OG fan, let me know your thoughts. I was definitely shook at first, but now that the more I think about it, I'm like, maybe this does check out. But best of both of them. I hope, like, happy healing after her baby was born with postpartum. Hopefully they're doing okay going through all this. This is just very interesting.